Hi, Sony registered a weird patent for a new PlayStation controller. It is going to have a touchscreen on it. And actually, nearly all of the top surface is going to be a touchscreen. Of course, this is just a patent, not an actual product. But I think they can actually do it as an alternative controller for the next PlayStation. And I wouldn't use it, I wouldn't prefer it, so that's not my point. And it seemed like the opposite of what the Gamepad should be about. You know, it needs to be a physical controller that you should be able to use when you are looking away. You know, this is just easy to do, and actually having a touchscreen here just defeats the purpose. Because you wouldn't have any feedback, you should be always looking at what you're pressing at, and actually you can just do it with your phone. You should be always looking at what you're pressing, and I actually can't even make a call without looking at my phone. I would probably call someone else accidentally.
Thanks for calling Domino. Today's special.
So with that being said, obviously touchscreens would be a worse experience on game controllers, but they might actually have good reasons behind it about why they should ever make a product like this. The first reason is accessibility, which I didn't even think of. With everyday objects, accessibility is always something we just forget about. But everyone can't use this. This is a very complex movement for just playing some games. So there are alternative products for people with disabilities, like this one from Xbox, and they also have other configurations with other buttons, and it would definitely help PlayStation having an alternative controller with more accessibility. And I of course don't think this is going to be their primary controller. That would be really stupid. The features they talk about in this patent is you can position and change sizes of buttons on your screen. You can change their types, like instead of having a 360 joystick type, you can have 4 buttons for movement, or like different throttle buttons, maybe with a slider or something else with just a single press. And of course you can resize, reposition any button you want. Also at the same time, this would give more room to the developers to make different games with different mechanics of buttons. Also other movements too. PS4 and PS5 came with this touchpad on their controllers. Honestly, not very games used it that well. Most developers just ignore stuff like this, especially the cross-platform games just ignore these kinds of things because they have to make extra time with extra codes to release these kinds of mechanics. And another thing about controllers is they just break too easily. Like buttons start wearing down, they start drifting away, or sometimes your cousin just breaks it with a drop. And these companies love making them cheaper because they can sell them with bigger profit margins, and of course they can ship a lot of them and more people can purchase them and more people with bigger families can play them. So having a touchscreen controller would make it very expensive. Also the durability would probably go down. If you think about how easy it is to break your phone screen, then it just doesn't really make sense to make it into a product that you are not even going to be looking at. Maybe it is going to introduce different game mechanics with just dual windows, like you can just have a minimap on your controller or some stats on your controller, but I don't think that most games are going to be implementing this. But one other thing that makes this into an actual threat for the gaming industry is less and less kids are playing with a keyboard and a mouse, and at the same time less and less kids are playing with gamepads. Most kids today start growing and start playing with their mobile phones or tablets. There are lots of videos on the internet that kids are just being shocked about keyboard and a mouse or a gamepad. I would say we are probably fine about how many kids know how to play games right now. It still looks like most people have either a PlayStation or an Xbox or a PC in their home, but the numbers are going down. Mobile platforms generate 54% of the gaming industry's revenue. Although in the USA 73% of all gamers still use consoles, people who game on mobile also make 70% of gamers. So there is a lot of overlap between them, and also mobile gamers seems to be catching up. I'm not going to argue if that's a good or a bad thing. I would prefer PC games and sometimes good console games. But the thing is, maybe PlayStation is just preparing for something more universal. Maybe they want to switch into just making games available with touchscreens. Like I said, I don't know if they are going to make this product or when, but it seems like with the accessibility features, with how they want to make more freedom and more unique games for the PlayStations, and how the mobile users are broadening and maybe more kids are playing with touchscreens, it makes sense to me to assume that they are going to make this product in the next 10 years, probably as an alternative gamepad, but who knows? Let's see what happens. Well, tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you're gaming on. Tell me if you would use a gamepad with a touchscreen. Would this be a good decision for Sony? Why do you think they registered the patent? Do you think they are ever going to use it? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please subscribe, and thank you for listening.